Welcome back, everyone, to Gold Seek TV. I'm here with the founder, director, and CEO of BP Silver Corporation, Tim Shearcroft. Thank you for joining us today.
Hi, Peter. Yeah, thanks for having me.
Thank you for coming on. Today, we have news out about phase 2 drilling at the Cosuño project. This is a quite big milestone for the development exploration of this prospective silver project. So I'd like to get some more insights into what the phase 2 drilling entails. What will you be targeting, and what would you hope to come out from this phase 2 drill program? So you have about 20 to 24 core drill holes prepared for this drill phase 2 program, which is coming off of your successful phase 1 program where you hit on every hole. You were able to show that the lithocap was mineralized. So now we're going into phase 2 drilling. So what does phase 2 look like? What are you looking at? And if you can give us some more details on some of these drill targets that you've been putting together over the last months.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, so phase 2 is going to be, like you said, 20 to 24 holes, minimum 2,000 meters, part of a broader 8,000 meter drill program that will cap with phase 3 later in the fall. We're starting with a follow-up on Pocañita Chica. That's been our best target to date. That's where we had 38 meters of 116 grams silver, a couple of narrow intercepts, 1,600 grams, 600 grams over 5 meters silver. So we're following up on that target just to demonstrate continuity on that mineralization, as well as drilling some of the similar structures along that target that have similar geochem on surface and similar structural characteristics to what we intercepted back in phase 1. And then we'll also be targeting the newer area, the Jalsuri cluster, we're calling it. There's Jalsuri North, Northeast, and West. And this is an area that we recently released mapping of 16 veins and breccias in a fairly concentrated area. And so during the process of building roads and preparing drill pads, we've also uncovered, below the cover in some of these areas, and we were finding, a lot of, very good mineralization, veinlet swarms, disseminated sulfides, and extensions to some of these outcropping veins and structures. So that's a significant area. It's going to help, calibrate and validate the upcoming MAG and IP. So it'll act as a guide, but drilling a few of these structures with shallow holes, it will demonstrate, the continued potential for bulk tonnage open pit. But also, if we can intercept high grade zones within these veins and structures, which some of them could be feeders for a larger system at depth below the lithocap, that also makes a very strong case for high grade mining of veins in the future. I mean, it's very forward looking, and we're a long way off from that, but demonstrating continuity across this very large corridor of outcropping structures and mineralization, I think will hold up very well for the project, and help set the stage going into phase 3 and MAG and IP, which will follow very shortly.
So through the different geological mapping and other work done over the last months.
Yeah. I mean, since April, we've been out building a lot of roads, and some platforms more lately. But it's a big area, and we need access to all of these different points, and including channel sampling. So we've taken probably at this point over 400 channel samples, and those are pending assay. And we expect those to be very interesting when they come back.
So if I understood that correctly, in the process of constructing the roads to the drill sites and the drill pads, you've also uncovered some additional outcropping structures and vein structures, breccias along the way, or how did?
Well, outcropping. There's extensions. Some of these veins and structures go undercover. So when you're cutting across and you're making roads, you're opening up some of these structures, and we're finding mineralization, at least in the form of sulfides, which potentially could host valuable minerals. But there's other areas where we've um, uncovered. Uncover disseminated mineralization in between these veins. And that's very, very encouraging. And some of these drill holes will drill into some of those disseminated areas. So if we can intercept mineralization in disseminated sections between veins and structures, well, that's something that could be potential bulk tonnage.
Okay, so that's one of the kind of things to look for in this drill program to see is how these potential zones may connect and
Yeah. We hope to show obviously continued mineralized intercepts at Pocañita Chica, um, and then on the new structures in the new areas, mineralization through these structures and veins, breccia structures, and also connecting some of these together in the form of disseminated mineralization in between the structures and veins.
so I think about a
So,
month ago you came out with news about additional discoveries of veins and breccias on the project. What does it look like now as far as potential strike lengths and size that you are targeting at the project?
yeah, we in that particular area, we haven't added more than the 2,100 meters of strike. So that's significant, but I can confidently say, other areas within the project, other targets, we've mapped additional veins and structures. So, that cumulative strike continues to grow, and you know, it, it will grow in thousands of meters as we continue to map and sample the property.
So,
And then we'll drill all these targets. There's many targets on the property, so it's quite an active system, and we'll continue exploring. I mean, there's two routes that people have to understand here. There is bulk tonnage, and that's very attractive, to larger companies. But in this market as well, with ever-changing commodity prices. In particular, silver is down much more than it was 6 months ago. You can look to these high-grade veins. 400 or 500 gram silver, 600 gram silver over a 3 meter average, which we've already demonstrated in phase 1 drilling, and we hope to make those kind of intercepts or bigger in phase 2 and phase 3. That's very valuable material. Um, Almost regardless of the silver price, I don't think we're going to ever see, $25 silver again. But that type of mineralization is still extremely valuable for producers, even at those prices. So um, the current price of silver, when you have high grade veins, it is not as material. It can be a factor with bulk tonnage, lower grade. But
so when you talk about the potential of Cosuño being a potential tier 1 silver project, that's a combination of potential in size and the resource, and also or high grade
yeah,
elements.
yeah. I mean, bulk tonnage open pit is always nice. I tend to focus on higher grade veins and feeder structures.
Hmm.
I mean, ultimately, this larger vein system that we think exists below the lithocap, very similar to Pulicayo again, which is 10 kilometers to the south. Those vein systems were very high grade, ran, greater than 1,000 meters deep, and were responsible for over 600 million ounces of silver. So that's what we're targeting with the deeper drilling that we'll do in phase 3. But certainly a number of these veins and structures on surface, and not all the veins are feeders. Um,
Hmm.
in total can add up to something fairly substantial.
Okay, so so with the phase two drilling and then with the mag and IP surveys, that will help guide you for the phase three drilling, which will include deeper holes,
Yeah,
lithocap to
yeah,
see.
absolutely. We were hoping to start the mag survey a little bit earlier. There was some delays, but we'll be announcing of the mag survey very shortly.
Mhm.
It's not necessary, for the holes that we're drilling right now. We've uncovered a lot of very good targets that are outcropping. We see them being very low risk. Um, and certainly if we can demonstrate with assays and drilling that these are all mineralized veins and structures, and in particular the disseminated areas between these structures, that's very significant because you're starting from, zero, down to kind of 100, 150 meters with mineralization. That becomes very, very attractive. And obviously that widespread mineralization um, near surface and throughout this 3.5 kilometer corridor is strong evidence that there's a larger system at depth. And we think grades will get higher as we get deeper, and we think obviously the system is there and it continues at depth. There's just too many things going on surface throughout the property that would make us think otherwise. And
Mhm.
that's a big reason why we have a lot of geologists that are shareholders. They see this property as being very, very attractive, tier one. Nothing is a guarantee.
Mhm.
Um, it is all high risk, but we like what we see on surface. We've been doing a lot of work, a lot of sampling, a lot of mapping, a lot of preparation for this phase two and phase three program. We have two excavators on the property. Um, and drilling has commenced. So
Excellent.
exciting times.
Well, the company's less than a year old. You've successfully identified a mineralized lithocap. Moving on to phase two drilling, you have a very strong technical team. You had mentioned some geologists there as investors in the company, which is always a strong sign that they also see the potential for a larger system. But you also had an addition to the team in the last weeks on the country manager side. If you could share a little more on the addition of a country manager you brought on.
Yes, yeah, adding Hernan Urube was a significant item for the company. Adds a lot of value. Um, he's the best country manager you could have in Bolivia. He spent 2016 to 2023 with New Pacific, which is a very successful explorer. Um, two projects in excess of 200 million ounces. But what's important about Hernan is one of those projects he brought into the company, and that is the project Carangas that became a 560 million ounce silver equivalent deposit. And in addition to that, he managed a 81,000 meter drill program in 2 years. So he's an individual that knows how to find projects and knows how to move them forward. So he'll certainly complement Gonzalo and the rest of our Bolivian team quite nicely.
Excellent. Well, just to wrap it up, I'd like to get a little more insight into the current situation in Bolivia. We've heard some, news of blockades and
Yeah,
some issues down
yeah,
there. If you could share.
yeah, absolutely, absolutely. People always get a little bit concerned, and I think our share prices has been a hit a little bit as a result of things that have been going on in Bolivia. I think more of it's part of a broader market reset, but there were people that were concerned what was going on in Bolivia, and I always tried to tell investors that, this is South America, people protest, not everyone doesn't always agree with what governments do, and this is how their reaction is. And some of the reactions are stronger than others, but um, they do come to an end. And these blockades have come to an end. The borders are open, the blockades are taken down. Bolivia is currently in a state of emergency. which is a good thing because there is military presence with the correct powers to maintain law and order, and things will continue. But we've experienced a few small delays related to the MAG survey because of the border closures.
Mhm.
But we've continued to move the project forward. We were unaffected this entire time, and so wasn't a need to make an announcement that there's any material delay. We've continued to map and build roads and sample, and that's gone along smoothly. And of course, mobilizing the drill, um, you know, at a difficult time in Bolivia. There has not been any challenges. We have sufficient fuel, people on the ground, supplies, everything required to conduct our program, and that speaks volumes about our team because anytime there is, obstacles, we've always been able to overcome them. And I think when you're someone investing in BP is that's what you get. You get a very strong team that's very hands-on. Um, there isn't an obstacle that we can't overcome, and things will continue as they're planned and with relatively little disruption.
Excellent. Well,
So
thank you for that.
investors can, I was going to say, just investors can look forward to a steady flow of news and reporting, and I think it's going to be very positive. This is an excellent time to be buying the stock. It's down from where we see the value of what it should be worth. So good opportunity to come in and buy the stock.
Well, it's an exciting story. I was attracted to it from the start because of the technical team, and I continued to accumulate because of the successful progress at the project. So I'm quite excited to see how phase two develops and into phase three. So, what an exciting project to be working on. I really appreciate the insights and your time, Tim, for giving us more detail what's taking place. So we'll look forward to the coming months and see how all these items develop, including the drill results and the MAG and IP survey and so on. So really appreciate your time today and giving us more information on what's taking place.
Sounds good. Thank you, Peter. Thank you for the time.
Thank you.